القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Quran Circle 2. I'm Arkham Rashid, your host. In this episode, we will be reciting a selection of verses from Surah Al-Furqan. And the title for this episode that we chose is named after Al-Furqan, which is the criterion. So let's start off as usual by introducing and welcoming our guest for today. On my right hand side, I have Sheikh Ibrahim Zidan. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, I usually ask you the definition of the name of the surah, but since our title is the definition, can you tell us what the general theme of the surah is?
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. The general theme of the surah, since it's called Al-Furqan, it's about the Furqan. Quran being the Furqan, the criterion between right and wrong, the truth and falsehood. And this is something that is throughout the Quran, the matter becomes clearer and clearer. There are two groups, the truth and the falsehood. There's the people that follow the truth and the people that follow the falsehood. And that's why in Surah Al-Furqan the matter is much clearer. And there is the mention about the Prophet ﷺ and about the Book of Allah, the Quran, and how people will be in the Day of Judgment. And the characteristics of the believers versus the characteristics of the disbelievers. Those who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they follow that truth, this Quran, that the people have deserted it, and the Prophet ﷺ complains to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that people had deserted the Quran. So we have duties towards this Book of Allah to be able to see what is right and what is wrong. And if we see ourselves away from the Quran, that means we do not know what is right and what is wrong. It's not something that comes with feelings. It has to do with the revelation from Allah.
Okay, Sheikh, so let's begin by some recitations, inshallah. For that, I will be introducing both of our reciters for today, and our first reciter is joining us for the first time on Quran Circle 2. His name is Qari Abdul Rahman Saeed. So, assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Welcome, Sheikh.
And next to him we have Qari Ayman Abdul Mun'im. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So starting us off today is Qari Abdul Rahman, and he will recite from Surah Al-Furqan. So go ahead, open your mushafs to verse number 21 of Surah Al-Furqan. Follow along and enjoy.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وقال الذين لا يرجون لقاءنا لولا أنزل علينا الملائكة أو نرى ربنا لقد استكبروا في أنفسهم وعتوا عتوا كبيرا يوم يرون الملائكة لا بشرى يومئذ للمجرمين ويقولون حجرا محجورا وقدمنا إلى ما عملوا من عمل فجعلناه هباء منثورا أصحاب الجنة يومئذ خير مستقرا وأحسن مقيلا ويوم تشقق السماء بالغمام ونزل الملائكة تنزيلا الملك يومئذ الحق للرحمن وكان يوما على الكافرين عسيرا ويوم يعض الظالم على يديه يقول يا ليتني اتخذت مع الرسول سبيلا يا ويلتى ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا لقد أضلني عن الذكر بعد إذ جاءني وكان الشيطان للإنسان خذولا وقال الرسول يا رب إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا وكذلك جعلنا لكل نبي عدوا من المجرمين وكفى بربك هاديا ونصيرا وقال الذين كفروا لولا نزل عليه القرآن جملة واحدة كذلك لنثبت به فؤادك ورتلناه ترتيلا ولا يأتونك بمثل إلا جئناك بالحق وأحسن تفسيرا الذين يحشرون على وجوههم إلى جهنم أولئك شر مكانا وأضل سبيلا ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب وجعلنا معه أخاه هارون وزيرا فقلنا اذهبا إلى القوم الذين كذبوا بآياتنا فدمرناهم تدميرا وقوم نوح لما كذبوا الرسل أغرقناهم وجعلناهم للناس آية وأعتدنا للظالمين عذابا أليما وعادا وثمود وأصحاب الرس وقرونا بين ذلك كثيرا وكلا ضربنا له الأمثال وكلا تبرنا تتبيرا ولقد أتوا على القرية التي أمطرت مطر السوء أفلم يكونوا يرونها بل كانوا لا يرجون نشورا وإذا رأوك إن يتخذونك إلا هزوا أهذا الذي بعث الله رسولا إن كاد ليضلنا عن آلهتنا لولا أن صبرنا عليها وسوف يعلمون حين يرون العذاب من أضل سبيلا أرأيت من اتخذ إلهه هواه أفأنت تكون عليه وكيلا أم تحسب أن أكثرهم يسمعون أو يعقلون إن هم إلا كالأنعام بل هم أضل سبيلا ألم تر إلى ربك كيف مد الظل ولو شاء لجعله ساكنا ثم جعلنا الشمس عليه دليلا ثم قبضناه إلينا قبضا يسيرا وهو الذي جعل لكم الليل لباسا والنوم سباتا وجعل النهار نشورا وهو الذي أرسل الرياح بشرا بين يدي رحمته وأنزلنا من السماء ماء طهورا لنحيي به بلدة ميتا ونسقيه مما خلقنا أنعاما ونسقيه مما خلقنا أنعاما وأناسيا كثيرا ولقد صرفناه بينهم ليذكروا فأبى أكثر الناس إلا كفورا ولو شئنا لبعثنا في كل قرية نذيرا فلا تطع الكافرين وجاهدهم به جهادا كبيرا.
Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for that beautiful recitation.
Thanks.
Sheikh, let's start from the very beginning. The first verse that he recited, if you can give us a brief tafsir of that.
The Surah Al-Furqan, one of its themes is that to establish the proof of the messengership of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that those who deny the meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who deny the day of judgment, they're the ones that would deny the messengership. So they would say that they would like to have the angels to descend on them, or for them to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't say that as a way to seek the truth. They say that out of mockery, out of stubbornness. They're not people that are seekers of the truth. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَقَدْ اسْتَكْبَرُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. They were arrogant within their own selves, and that's why they would say such a thing. And they became or led astray as a result of this, because the angels, once they see it, then they would not be given the glad tidings because they're disbelievers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made part of that belief is to believe in the unseen. So they would say that out of arrogance, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them in this life and in the hereafter.
Okay, thank you, Sheikh. If we can go to verses 27 to 29. He's speaking about the zalim on that day. Can you explain this to us a bit?
Now, the verses is giving us what's going to happen in the Day of Judgment, one of the scenes in the Day of Judgment, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will honor the believers and they would enter Jannah. And the opposite of that, the disbelievers, they would enter the hellfire. And the sovereignty of the heavens and the earth belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it would be a very difficult day for the disbelievers. And the ayah says, وَيَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. On that day, the Day of Judgment, al-zalim, the wrongdoer, the transgressor, the one that wronged himself and wronged others. Wronged himself when he associated partners with Allah and disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and wronged others by committing injustices against them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving here, the scene is a very difficult one for them. He would bite not on his fingers, he would bite over on his hands. And this is what the ayah is saying. And he would say, Ya laytani takhadhtu ma'a rasuli sabil. He would say, I wish I took a path with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wish I followed the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can see the regret. Nobody can really express it in a more eloquent speech than this. That the level of regret that these wrongdoers would have, that they would bite over their hands and they would say, we wish that we followed the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then he would incur the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on himself, and he'd say, woe to himself. I wish I did not take such and such fulanan, the name of anyone, as khalilan, as an intimate friend. Why? Because he deviated me away from the dhikr, from the remembrance of Allah, from the truth after it came to me. And the shaitan is always letting down the human beings. And that shows that friends will distance themselves from one another in the Day of Judgment. They would curse one another. They used to be so close in this life, but they will be enemies in the Day of Judgment, except the muttaqin, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that also in the Quran. So the people of taqwa, their friendship benefited them because they used to remember or remind one another of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for the disbelievers and the wrongdoers, right, they would regret that so much in the Day of Judgment. And then it follows by the call from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of how people they treated the Quran, the book of Allah.
Okay, Sheikh, if we look at verse number 32, it says the people that denied the truth, وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْلَا نُزِّلَ عَلَيْهِ الْقُرْآنُ جُمْلَةً وَاحِدًا. So they're speaking about the Quran, why wasn't it revealed at once? I have two questions here. Number one, why were they asking if the Quran was revealed at once or revealed over time? And the second one, what's the wisdom behind Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealing the Quran over years?
Now, the reason why they ask is the same reason when they asked for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring down the angels or to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's questions not to seek the truth or to seek knowledge, but to be arrogant and to be stubborn and to ridicule the truth. So anytime they are faced with something, they would ask for something else. This is not new. This is the same thing for every messenger of Allah that is being sent. Always people ask for things just for the sake of being ignorant. So they asked the Prophet ﷺ why the Quran would not be revealed all at once. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the wisdom behind it. كَذَلِكَ لِنُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives steadfastness to the heart of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is how it's recited. So the Quran was revealed all at once to this level of the skies, as-sama' dunya, to this worldly heaven, and then it came down to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam over the 23 years, according to the incidences that happened and according to the whatever different times. And this by itself is a miraculous thing. If the Quran was revealed all at once, it's different than when it's revealed depending on the incidences of things and gradually transforming the people from disbelief to become the best nation ever brought to mankind. And with all of this, the Prophet ﷺ would say when the verses are revealed, put these verses in this place, in this surah, in that surah, and then you read the Quran, a perfect book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although the verses are used to be coming down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in different ways, in different manners.
Okay, then the verses speak about some of the prophets. The first one that's mentioned here is Musa and Harun. What I want to know, I mean, most people know that Musa and Harun were brothers, but were they blood brothers? Was Harun Musa's blood brother? Or?
The Quran doesn't really specifically mention that they were blood brothers or not, but from the stories and how the Fir'aun was going after the ones that are born to take them, Harun was not taken with his brother Musa alayhi salam, and that's why it shows that he was not at that time, or he was different than Musa alayhi salam. So some said that they were not from the same father or so. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. But the point here is that he was his brother, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَجَعَلْنَا مَعَهُ أَخَاهُ هَارُونَ وَزِيرًا, that he was the brother of Musa alayhi salam. And this is mentioned again in the context of the criteria, because these are the people of the truth. And they were sent to the people to warn them and to call them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should also, the verse about the Quran, that the Prophet sallallahu he would say, Ya Rabbi, inna qawmi ittakhadhu hadha al-Qur'ana mahjura. Oh my Lord, my people, they deserted the Quran. So part of not deserting the Quran is to get to know the stories of these messengers, because they are mentioned in the Quran for a reason, and that is for us to learn their ways and their footsteps and to follow their footsteps.
Okay, so after Musa and Harun, it mentions the Prophet Nuh. What I want to do is the verse right after mentioning Prophet Nuh says وَعَادٌ وَثَمُودٌ. I mean, we usually see this throughout the verses in the Quran. It mentions Aad with Thamud. What's the reason behind that?
Because they are, one came after the other. But it's usually these nations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set as an example to how when they renegade from the truth and they know the truth and they turn away from it, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them severely. And they thought that they're all that and they're so powerful. And they used to even make their homes in the mountains, in the rocky mountains. And this is not something simple. So they were very sophisticated nations. And also the story of Thamud with the camel and so on. It was an interesting story, and a punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came to them severely. So that's a warner for those who came after them. That's why it says, وَقُرُونًا بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ كَثِيرًا. Many generations that came after that, what did they do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is setting the example by these nations because they're past, they're finished. But it's for those who are alive today to learn that the same outcome will happen to those who disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe not in the same manner, but in the hereafter, definitely in the moment of death, people would receive a severe punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a result of disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and disbelieving in Him.
Okay. I want to ask you about verses 43 and 44, but we'll get one of the reciters to recite it for us, inshallah. Qari Ayman, if you can recite for us from verse number 43 until a few verses, inshallah. أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ
أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ أَفَأَنْتَ تَكُونُ عَلَيْهِ وَكِيلًا أم تحسب أن أكثرهم يسمعون أو يعقلون إن هم إلا كالأنعام بل هم أضل سبيلا.
Thank you very much, Qari.
Thank you.
Sheikh, in the first verse that he recited, it speaks about following your desires. Can you explain that to us?
Now, the ayah is very clear and very strong when it comes to following the desires, giving it to show how evil that is. By saying, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, did you see those who took their desires as gods besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Someone worshipping his desire. Nobody on the face of earth would say, I worship my desire. My desire is the creator of the heavens and the earth, and therefore I would worship my desire. But when you look at the affairs of the people and the ways of the disbelievers, are they following the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And this is the word, the criterion comes in place between the falsehood and the truth. Or are they following their desires? If it's not wahi, if it's not revelation from Allah, then it is nothing but desire. And these desires becomes as if it's gods besides Allah. Whenever the desire ordered them to do something, they follow their desires. People are ordered to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why the ulama of this ummah, like Imam al-Shatibi, for example, rahimahullah, they took from these verses that one of the goals, one of the most important goal of the sharia, of the deen of Islam, is to take the person from following his desire to follow the truth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought to the Prophet. Doesn't mean that we undermine totally our desire, but our desire will be fulfilled and will be given the best if we follow the truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying about these disbelievers. They're basically worshipping their desires, and we should stay away from that. Okay. And condemning them, do you think that they listen and they reflect, they have reason? You think that they have reason? Don't be deceived. They are nothing but like the cattle, al-an'am. But even worse, they are far worse than the cattle, because the cattle, at least they know the purpose of their life. Right? But they do not know the purpose of their lives, these disbelievers, and they just worship their desires.
All right, thank you very much for that, Sheikh. We're going to go for a short break, and as soon as we come back, we will continue with the recitation of Surah Al-Furqan, so stay tuned.
وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
Welcome back to Quran Circle 2. Now, before we went for that short break, we were reciting a selection from Surah Al-Furqan, so we will continue with the recitation of Quran first, and then we will have our conversation about those verses. So starting us off for this segment is Qari Ayman Abdul Mun'im. Enjoy.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وهو الذي مرج البحرين هذا عذب فرات وهذا ملح أجاج وجعل بينهما برزخا وحجرا محجورا وهو الذي خلق من الماء بشرا فجعله نسبا وصهرا وكان ربك قديرا ويعبدون من دون الله ما لا ينفعهم ولا يضرهم وكان الكافر على ربه ظهيرا وما أرسلناك إلا مبشرا ونذيرا قل ما أسألكم عليه من أجر إلا من شاء أن يتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا وتوكل على الحي الذي لا يموت وتوكل على الحي الذي لا يموت وسبح بحمده وكفى به بذنوب عباده خبيرا الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش الرحمن فاسأل به خبيرا وإذا قيل لهم اسجدوا للرحمن قالوا وما الرحمن أنسجد لما تأمرنا وزادهم نفورا تبارك الذي جعل في السماء بروجا تبارك الذي جعل في السماء بروجا وجعل فيها سراجا وقمرا منيرا وهو الذي جعل الليل والنهار خلفة لمن أراد أن يذكر أو أراد شكورا وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما يضاعف له العذاب يوم القيامة ويخلد فيه مهانا إلا من تاب وآمن وعمل عملا صالحا فأولئك يبدل الله سيئاتهم حسنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما ومن تاب وعمل صالحا فإنه يتوب إلى الله متابا والذين لا يشهدون الزور وإذا مروا باللغو مروا كراما والذين إذا ذكروا بآيات ربهم لم يخروا عليها صما وعميانا والذين يقولون ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما أولئك يجزون الغرفة بما صبروا ويلقون فيها تحية وسلاما خالدين فيها حسنت مستقرا ومقاما قل ما يعبأ بكم ربي لولا دعاؤكم فقد كذبتم فسوف يكون لزاما.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Qari Ayman. Sheikh, in the first verse that he recited, it's very interesting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the division in the two seas. Now, obviously, we understand this verse now because we know that there is that point where the salty ocean connects with the fresh water. But what about when this verse was revealed to the companions of the Prophet ﷺ in the desert? Did they know about this, or this was something that was interesting for them?
These verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about His signs. And it comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of all things. So the Quran, these verses were not revealed to challenge the people. This was revealed to just to state the fact. But the people not necessarily knew everything that was in their environment because they, as you said, they were living in the desert. They didn't see these things happening. And even when people see it, those who see the rivers and meeting with the sea, they just see some water mixing and they would think that it's mixing, but it's not mixing. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. And even in this verse, it talks about a barzakh, talks about a transition area where even some people, the fish that is in that transition area is different than the fish in both seas. And it's all by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So definitely this was an amazing thing for them. But as you see, the context of the verses keeps on talking about, from ayah number 45, about the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to the shade and to the night and the day and the wind and all of these signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's leading them, or leading the reciter of the Quran, for the disbelievers and the believers to see that clearly, that see how much injustice it is after seeing all of these signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that people would worship other than Allah. And that meaning should be very strong in the hearts of the believers. That's why in ayah number 55, وَيَعْبُدُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ مَا لَا يَنْفَعُهُمْ وَلَا يَضُرُّهُمْ. They worship besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what doesn't benefit them, nor it harms them. So to show how foolish that is and how injustice that is, so that we don't appreciate or we don't look up to anyone that disbelieves in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that a person had committed such an evil crime.
Okay, and in verse 56 it says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا مُبَشِّرًا وَنَذِيرًا. Obviously, I mean, it's talking about the Prophet ﷺ, but mubashir for who and nadhira for who?
Now, the Prophet ﷺ and all the prophets of Allah, they were sent as people of giving glad tidings, mubashiran, and nadhiran, and warners. So they give the good news and they warn. They give good news for those who are believers, those who would follow the messengers of Allah. Allah promised them Jannat and gardens underneath which rivers flow, and they have also goodness in this life. And it's a warner for those who disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if they take the message and they turn away from it. And also for the sinners, it's a warning for them. If they continue in the state of sin, they would receive some of the punishment of Allah if they die in the state of Islam, or if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them. So that's why our way of looking into the revelation from Allah, we need to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based on the fact that the Prophet ﷺ was giving the good news and warning. So we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hope for the rewards from Allah. Two acts of worship. And this is al-khawf wal-raja. To fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to hope for the rewards from Allah, because everything is owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And both, they bring the mercy, which is وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The Prophet ﷺ was sent as a mercy to mankind, to warn them and to give the glad tidings and the news for the believers.
Okay. Sheikh, if we can come to verse number 60. It says, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اسْجُدُوا لِلرَّحْمَنِ قَالُوا وَمَا الرَّحْمَنِ. That if it is said to them, bow or prostrate to the most merciful, they say, who is the most merciful. Can you help us understand this?
This is a specific verse with regards to the people of Quraysh. They used to deny the name Ar-Rahman because they believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they believed that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator, the sustainer, and so on. And they worshipped, but they worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the idols, associated partners with Allah. And whenever they are in dire need, they would turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. But one of the things that they denied the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Ar-Rahman. So they would say, Wa Ar-Rahman? Who is Ar-Rahman? We don't believe in Ar-Rahman as one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that made them even more repelling or distancing themselves away from the truth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ar-Rahman and He is Ar-Rahim, to state the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the perfect and the beautiful names and attributes.
Okay, Shaykh, in verse number 63, he says, وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. And this is telling us to say salam to those who are ignorant and trying to, kind of argue with you. I mean, what are circumstances that this could be applied to, and how do we just say salam? Is it literally assalamu alaikum and stop talking to them?
These verses from 63 to the end of the surah, it's important for every Muslim to really learn them and listen to lectures about them and extensively know what are the characteristics of the slaves of Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, the most beneficent, subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it clearly mentioned about these believers, they walk with leniency on earth. They're not arrogant. They're not harming others. They're very soft. They're very kind. Not because they're born that way, but because they are the slaves of Ar-Rahman. They know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most beneficent and He subhanahu wa ta'ala the most merciful. And He ordered them to do that. And as a result of walking with leniency on the face of earth and having this concern to human beings, when a jahil, when an ignorant person speaks to them, speaks with ignorance, of course. And the examples of that, a person cussing them, cursing them, saying bad language to them, throwing things at them, ridiculing them, making fun of them. What do they respond? How they respond? They don't respond with ignorance, because that's the easiest thing to be done. And most human beings, except those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on, they respond to ignorance with ignorance. Actually, by the way, the Arabs at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they used to be so proud of being ignorant to those who are ignorant. Right? They even said poetry about this. Nobody is to treat us with ignorance, otherwise we will respond with more ignorance. People say that when they're fighting, right? And the one that they think that is victorious is the one that acts more ignorantly, right? The believers, they're away from this. If someone acts towards them with ignorance, they respond with not necessarily the word salaman, but they would respond, they would say anything that is nice and decent and good. And you can try that. You would find it's amazing how when people, for example, angry with you, road rages and things like this, and you turn to the person and you smile to that person, that totally transforms the person. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, idfa billati ahsan. Do what is good, and you would find the one that has enmity will be lenient and so on. And this is one of the characteristics of the believers. If we don't find ourselves having this, it's a difficult thing. It needs patience, it needs forbearance, it needs for the person to train himself and to seek rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. But it's definitely such a great and a high level for the believers to achieve.
Okay. Sheikh, like you said, these verses are describing the characteristics of a believer. We'll have one of the reciters recite it for us, inshallah. Qari Abdul Rahman, if you can recite from وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ until wherever you want to stop, inshallah. Just a few ayahs.
وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما والذين يقولون ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم ربنا اصرف عنا عذاب جهنم إن عذابها كان غراما إنها ساءت مستقرا ومقاما والذين إذا أنفقوا لم يسرفوا ولم يقتروا وكان بين ذلك قواما والذين لا يدعون مع الله إلها آخر ولا يقتلون النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ولا يزنون ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما يضاعف له العذاب يوم القيامة ويخلد فيه مهانا إلا من تاب وآمن وعمل عملا صالحا فأولئك يبدل الله سيئاتهم حسنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما ومن تاب وعمل صالحا فإنه يتوب إلى الله متابا والذين لا يشهدون الزور وإذا مروا باللغو مروا كراما والذين إذا ذكروا بآيات ربهم لم يخروا عليها صما وعميانا والذين يقولون ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما أولئك يجزون الغرفة بما صبروا ويلقون فيها تحية وسلاما خالدين فيها حسنت مستقرا ومقاما قل ما يعبأ بكم ربي لولا دعاؤكم فقد كذبتم فسوف يكون لزاما.
Thank you very much, Qari Abdul Rahman. Thank you. Sheikh, just my last question before we end off, inshallah. Some of the, we can say, characteristics were mentioned about the ones who believe and do these good deeds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing here in these verses. One thing that sticks out is he says whoever does this, there will be a punishment for him. And then after that he says إِلَّا مَنْ تَابَ وَآمَنَ وَعَمِلَ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا. Sorry. What I want to know is, can you explain this concept of tawbah to us?
Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's the most merciful. And He's saying that part of the characteristics of the believers or the slaves of Ar-Rahman, that they do not associate partners with Allah, and they don't kill the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade, and they don't commit fornication and so on. And then warning that whoever do this, they would receive a severe punishment, and it will be multiplied for them, except, and this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except for those who repent and believe and do righteous good deeds. This is how the repentance is. It's not just a word of mouth. It's regret, it's actions, it's intentions that a person would not do that again, and belief and do righteous good deeds. These people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not just forgive their sins. The ayah says, فَأُولَٰئِكَ يُبَدِّلُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِهِمْ حَسَنَاتٍ. These are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change their sins to be good deeds. And there's a hadith about that from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that a person in the Day of Judgment, when he is reminded in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by his sins, and he keep on, this is mentioned to him one sin after the other, till he would think that he is perished, he's doomed, he's in hellfire forever. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to that person, I concealed it for you in this life, and I would replace it, not just forgive it, but replace it with good deeds. That person, then he would even remember more sins when he sees the vast mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is when the Prophet ﷺ smiled. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most merciful, but we need to repent. The key here is to repent and to believe and to do righteous good deeds. The mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nobody can ever comprehend it. And this is what these characteristics, I wish we have the time, or we had the time to explain it. It's something that takes a long time. But it's our duty as Muslims to make sure that we are among these people. Otherwise, it's the opposite. That's why the criterion between what is good and what is bad. Either, and the warning here, either we are among these people that are mentioned at the end of Surah Al-Furqan, or we subject ourselves to the punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's not to be taken lightly, to be taken very serious. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are truly Ibadur Rahman.
Inshallah, Ameen. And Sheikh, with that, we will end this episode. So I want to thank you for coming here and sharing your thoughts and your wisdom with us.
Jazakumullah khair. Barakallah feek.
And I want to thank both of you, Qari Ayman and Qari Abdur Rahman, for your splendid recitations. Thank you. Dear viewers, I would recommend that you take some time out and read the tafsir, or at least the translation for these verses, and try to act upon these characteristics that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing for the believers. And until next time, don't forget to catch us on Quran Circle 2. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
مبشرا ونذيرا